Yeah, how's it going? This is Dawson, Millennial Mindz. In this video, I want to discuss the current inflation issues we're having in the U.S. So me personally, I'm someone that pretty much goes in the store. I just swipe my card. I don't really think about it until recently. Now, I travel for work. I go state to state. And the way I usually do things, if I'm traveling, I like things to be as easy as possible. I'll hop on Postmates. My basket's already ready to go. I have a list of items I get. I click purchase from whatever store, and the price is generally the same thing every single time. Until recently, the last two places I went, I've kind of noticed okay, it's went up a little bit. All right, different area. This last place was just ridiculous. It was like 20% higher. So I started to look into the inflation thing, and maybe I'm a little spoiled, but I haven't really noticed that much, until I really had to look at some of these prices, and things are ridiculous. I think to the person that has 2 or 3 kids at home, they're married, even a 2-parent household right now is going to kind of feel the difference. If you were paying $400 a month for groceries, now you're paying $500 or $600, and things are rough for everyone right now. So I've kind of had to really look at things, and I noticed that Biden mentioned, President Biden, he had a press conference. He mentioned 4 months ago that inflation is possibly temporary, he's working on it, so on and so forth. And 2 weeks ago, he mentioned that it's something that we have to tackle. Things are becoming a bit more vague, and I don't think inflation is going to get any better. It's I'm pretty positive it's only going to get worse. And the reason I say that is, if you want the inflation to get better, the only way I see that happening is if you unprint the 40% of the US dollar that was printed in the past year. And I don't think you can unprint money or uncirculate money that you've already put out there. And the additional reason for that is, if you say you have a TV store, so you sell TVs, and your TVs are, the cheapest one's $100. The cost of the TVs went up. Cost of shipping the TVs has went up, which has caused the TV's price to go up. In addition to that, we have a really competitive employer market currently, and employees, they want more money. An employer can't go backwards. I don't see that happening. Even if say the initial price was 100 and now it's 120, there's no chance that things are going to backtrack. Maybe a very finite amount, not much. Let's say the cost of fuel drops, the cost of the employer paying the employees, that's not going to go anywhere. So with all that being said, I don't think inflation is going to get any better. And I think the only thing that we truly can do is, tighten our belts a little bit. And I hate to say that, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, the U.S., I'm currently in the Dominican Republic, and I see how inflation is also hurting this country. And I think it won't get as bad as in the U.S., but it's unfortunate that the U.S. is so dependent on credit. And I think that's something that we really have to prepare ourselves right now, so that we don't have to dig into our credit, into those credit cards and things like that. That's where we're going to get in trouble. And I'm a little nervous about that. I just know, in general, Americans, we're pretty comfortable with just swiping that card. The groceries come out to $220, you only have $200. We're not taking things out of the basket in most cases. You got that credit card, and so okay, $20. I'll just swipe the credit card this time, and it's that's not really the way to go. But I see that becoming the way that things are gonna go. So I feel like the only solution is just to prepare ourselves. If you can cut back here and there until maybe you find better employment, and I think that's also pretty unfortunate that people are leaving their employers for other employers, after they've been with the initial employer for so long. I know people that have been with a company, 10 years, that have just said, screw it. Hey, you can't bring someone in brand new, has no experience, and pay them, in many cases, more than what you're paying me. So they'll just leave, and, that company will lose such a good employee, instead of being intelligent and saying, hey, well, this person, I need this person. I need this lady to train the new people. So let me just bump them up and, give them additional pay or whatever. Instead, employers are treating people like numbers. And, that doesn't really tie in with the whole inflation issue, but in a way it does. Everything is being affected by the inflation. and this huge print frenzy of the U.S. dollar. I don't know if people understand what printing 40% of the U.S. dollar is really going to affect. And, it's difficult for me to even picture that in such a quick amount of time. In less than 2 years, we printed 40% of the U.S. dollar. If we had 1 trillion, for example, I know it's more than that. If we had 1 trillion, now we have 1.4 trillion, just like that. So essentially, yeah, inflation can get bad enough that we hit that 40% increase, and if you're making, $15 one day, and then let's say you jump up to 20, that's still not 40%. Everyone sees how, the cost of living in general, as far as like rent, mortgage, we all see how that's flying out of control. If you're making 70,000 today, and your job says, hey, well, we're going to throw you a bone, we're going to give everyone a 15% increase. That's not enough. You know what I mean? Like that's not 40%. And, it was nice when everyone was getting checks. They were throwing out those stimulus checks, and I'm saying, I'm not going to say I was against it. I'm not really going to say I was for it either, but, now things are going to start getting real. And I think that's very unfortunate, that 40%, we're complaining about many things right now, but I think that 40% was a huge mistake. And I believe it was also allocated wrong, but I'm pretty nervous about it. I'm going to stay on top of it. I'm going to continue to make videos in regards to it, but I'm pretty nervous for the state of the U.S. and what's going to happen in the future, and honestly, the near future. I say within the next 2 years, we're really going to start seeing things change. 3 weeks ago, I was visiting my father, and we were just joking around, but there's been a couple nights I've laid in the bed and really thought about what we were discussing. We were sitting down on the couch, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get that room. When things get bad. He's like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, me and my family will get this room. My sister and their family, they can get this room. And we were just joking about that. But really looking at it, different cultures. I was in Minneapolis. They have a large Somalian population there. And, they, stack families up. I don't really think it's a bad thing. In the U.S. culture, that's not really a thing. But having multifamily homes, that might be a good option right now, that we can actually stack up some money and prepare for bad times and hope that bad times don't really come. But it's very possible. And I don't really know if that's a solution, but I think right now, before things really do hit the fan, I think we should, try to find a way to save pennies here and there. I think everyone's kind of seen the way that inflation's affecting us, and you could say, oh, it's not that bad. It's not that big of a deal, but it is a big deal, especially if it gets worse. Think about it. If you saw, inflation hit us, where it's going to affect you 40%, even 30% tomorrow, would you be ready? Would you be ready for your rent to jump 30%, knowing that your employer's not just going to, pay you 30% more overnight? That's not going to happen. You might get 10%, but 30%, that's not going to happen. So please let me know what you think. I'm kind of ranting, but it's something that I couldn't script this. It's not something that I can write down and speak about, because it's something that's really been on my mind. And currently being in another country, seeing how it's affecting them, I mean, it's pretty nuts. If you translate, the U.S. dollar, but we'll just stay in pesos. When I was here a year ago, you could buy a chicken for like 150 pesos, a chicken. Now it's 250. That's a pretty large jump. It's like 66%, something like that. That's a big jump, just in no time. So if that happened in the U.S., people would be crippled. It's the point out here that people are somewhat malnourished. They're sticking to like rice and bean diets. Meat being on the table is more of a rarity. So, I hope that the U.S. doesn't hit that point, but I hope we don't do it at the expense of, messing up everyone's credit and, having that be something that we have to pay for in the future, So please like, share, comment, subscribe. I apologize for ranting. I apologize for all the noise in the background as well, but like I said, I'm not home currently. So please let me know what you think about this video, and any questions, comments, concerns, anything you'd like me to put in the next video regarding the inflation problem. Please let me know. All right.